Hello everyone, it's I, Croc199. Welcome to another day of to the first day of Lizard Week. Now today is going to be slightly well-known lizard species, between both in the wild and in captivity. Today it's all about the Cuban rock iguana. Welcome you back to our planet. Alright, so the Cuban rock iguana is a species of lizard, basically, well known for its robust size. It's kind of like herbaceous diet, and also they've been very well known in zoos and also conservation and rehabilitation facilities, and for many keepers who do own one. But in the wild, these iguanas do face threats because in the natural environment, they do face threats from deforestation and introduction to invasive species that have now taken hold in their native areas. With the conservation efforts in place, so hopefully to maintain their numbers and prevent them from the population being at further risk. Want to learn more? Here you go. Alright, so Cuban iguanas can be found, as the name suggests, on the island of Cuba and also the surrounding islands as well. Habitat-wise, they can be found in dry forests, even coastal rocky areas. So basically, a lot of times they'll be either on a branch or on a rock or even on the beach, basically sunbathing. But when threat occurs, they'll even try to take refuge in a burrow that would stay out of sight from potential danger. So these iguanas can be found in a variety of different areas, and a lot of times you either find them basically in clusters or basically individually if you venture through their native forest, and you'll be able to come across these iguanas no matter where you hike. If you want to learn more, here you go. Now when it comes to their size for these iguanas, basically they can be differentiated between their sizes, known as sexual dimorphism, whereas males do get bigger than the females, whereas males can go to 5 feet in length, whereas females are a little bit smaller and they only get to 4 feet in length. Now the coloration can vary from a dark gray to even a black coloration, with lighter, even sometimes red scaling as the color pattern. This pattern and coloration helps them ample camouflage, helps them hide from potential prey, both native and non-native predators. So it also helps them, basically dark colorations allow them to absorb more sunlight, whereas dark coloration can kind of like help them absorb more sunlight and also help them warm up faster, but also acts as ample camouflage from potential predators of all types. If you want to learn more, here you go.
Now it's time for the question of the day. Lizards come in many shapes, sizes, and colors, but also their physical features can differentiate them from different species that may look similar either in size or color.
What is the third largest species of lizard in the world? A, the Asian water monitor, B, the Savannah monitor, or C, the crocodile monitor? Check back and learn on the video for the correct answer. Now, Cuban rock iguanas are active during the daylight, so they're more likely to be diurnal rather than being nocturnal, which means they are less active at night and they're more active during the day. So behavior-wise, these iguanas, like many large lizards, are known to be very solitary, but they only come together during the breeding season. But before the season even starts, they are basically on their own, fending for themselves, so they form no social groups whatsoever. But when it comes to this, there's also comes their diet, which is basically these lizards, although they look large and it may look like another predatory lizard, but in reality they are a herbivore, meaning they eat plants and not really meat-based diet. So they'll eat leaves, plants, flowers. So basically they have a very vegetarian diet. If you want to learn more, here you go. Alright, when it comes to the breeding season, Cuban rock iguanas do tend to mate around between May to June. So that's basically when the courtships basically commence, where males will compete with one another for the right to mate with potential females. Once the victor has claimed his prize, basically they go their separate ways. They don't mate together for life or anything. They basically go on their separate ways after mating season has subsided. So during that point, about 60 days after, females will start to lay their eggs around between July or August. Females will lay up to around 5 to at least 20 eggs. So when females do, they find a supreme nesting site to allow them to incubate their eggs and basically bury their eggs underground. That way it also keeps them safe from potential predators and egg thieves, but also help them regulate the temperature. That way they'll be able to hatch into basically higher temperatures will hatch out as males, whereas cooler temperatures will hatch out as females. So basically females will compete for nesting sites that have the best places to basically lay their eggs. But once the eggs are laid, the females will go off and the eggs are left in the incubation sites to basically hopefully one day hatch. If you want to learn more, you go. Now, as terrific as these iguanas are, they are considered vulnerable because they're under threat from certain factors that definitely affect their survival and the population numbers throughout the course of the next few years. So the iguanas are under threat due to a variety of different factors, everything from habitat loss, human encroachments, as well as the introduction of non-native animals, for example, like dogs, cats, and introduced species of mongoose. So like feral cats and dogs, who basically see these guys, basically a lot of times the encounter can go either way, unless it's someone's pet. Sometimes they try to encourage the pet to leave the iguana alone, but with other situations, it can cause the situation to go badly real quick. Whereas mongoose are natural predators, so they can basically start feeding on the eggs, the young, or even so basically kind of affecting their numbers each year. So there are different factors are definitely a threat to the iguana survival, but hopefully with different conservation efforts, we'll hopefully be able to keep their population stable to back to healthy numbers. If you want to learn more, you go. Now, there are certain factors that are affecting the iguana's population in a negative way, but the solutions to these issues is basically what's happening with conservation efforts, as well as breeding programs for many variety of zoos and conservation areas, as well as saving each area to be protected. That way the iguanas will be able to basically repopulate peacefully without cause of altercation from factors that will affect their numbers drastically. Whereas breeding programs and conservation facilities and zoos will help to to reintroduce their numbers back into the wild to get their numbers back to a healthy stability. That way these iguanas will be able to live out and basically thrive once again in an environment, and hopefully increase their numbers from vulnerable to basically no longer an issue. That way they'll be able to thrive once again without any issues, and hopefully we'll be able to once again solve these issues and how we can protect their numbers a lot more effectively, and hopefully find solutions to get the factors that are affecting their numbers in a negative way under control. If you want to learn more, here you go. Now, what is the third largest species of lizard in the world? If you guessed a crocodile monitor, you are correct. The crocodile monitor is a large lizard but can only grow to 8 feet long, making only the third largest species of lizard in the world, right behind the Komodo dragon and the Asian water monitor. Now, let's get back to today's episode. Alright, so that is the Cuban rock iguana, a spectacular species, but one that's under threat, and hopefully one day with conservation and also breeding programs, their numbers can be restored back to their healthy numbers, to a healthy population. Alright, that's it for today. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button. If you have any questions for me, put in the comments below. Don't forget, subscribe for more content, check out my other videos, and I will see you all next time. See you later.